Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a tiny village by the name of Kamiki. Legend tells of a horrible beast that threatened the residents. It also tells of the wolf that risked it all to protect them. Controlling the very fabric of existence, this wolf stood up against a beast many times its size and banished the darkness. This ethereal wolf's valiant act ushered in an era of tranquility. The villagers' hearts swelled with respect and adoration of the wolf. Hello everyone, welcome to my first recorded Let's Play. This is Okami. For those that don't know what this game is, it is a Zelda-like game with a bit of a twist. It is one of my personal favorite of the Zelda games. I spent too long on the title. As you can see on screen, I am playing the HD version. I will go over the differences between the HD version and the original as we go through the game. For reference, this will be a 100% playthrough. First off, let's go into options. Yes, I know. There are multiple control schemes. And I wanted to cover this because I cannot show it with a capture card. I really can't. If you are playing this game on a Switch Lite, you can use the touch screen for the Celestial Brush. What is the Celestial Brush? We'll just have to find out. You can also use motion controls, just like the Wii version, which I think is the more popular of the two versions. I will be using the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Another thing, if we go into options, trust me, the game will get started soon enough. If you want to enable motion controls, go into controller settings. You can even change the gyroscope sensitivity. I am going to be using brush controls A. And if we go into original settings, we can change the aspect ratio. You can change it to what it was in the original, or you can change it to look nice. I'm going to choose looking nice. Mini games. I'm going to turn these on, because I want to show them off. I don't plan to do them a lot of the times, and minor note, they will be going off by the next episode, because I think they just force you to spend too long on the title screen. But they are a thing. Camera control. You can also invert the axes. You can also change how the controller rumble works. I'm going to leave that alone. Finally, sound settings. All of this is on max. It should be fine. And finally, filter. There will be text on screen now explaining what the filter does, because at the time of recording, I have no idea what the filter does. Now, we also have help here. These are just general tips. Just general tips for you. I will be going over almost all of this, so don't worry. But if you're new to this game, why not reference the tips? I will be selecting New Game. Hideki Kamiya. I'll go over why that name is probably familiar later. Long, long ago, a tiny hamlet known as Kamiki lay nestled in a grove of proud and beautiful cherry blossoms. Each and every tree around the quiet burg was honored as a god. However, the village was not without its dark secrets. To satiate the appetite of Orochi, a fearsome cave-dwelling beast, a young maiden was offered as a sacrifice at the annual festival. With a body like a mountain and 8 heads mounted on necks the size of tree trunks, its blood-red eyes alone were said to curse anyone who gazed into them. No one dared disobey the horrific beast. When the night of the sacrifice drew near, a mysterious white wolf appeared outside the village. This wolf, its coat as brilliant as snow, was dubbed Shiranui. The wolf kept a watchful eye on anyone who ventured outside the village, and made a habit of patrolling the streets at night. People assumed the wolf to be a familiar of Orochi. One villager took it upon himself to face the fearsome Shiranui. The warrior Nagi attempted many times to challenge the wolf, but his attempts were thwarted by Shiranui's swift movements. Before long, the night of the accursed festival had arrived. A white-plumed arrow heralded the coming sacrifice. Piercing the sky, the arrow sunk its shaft squarely into the home of Nami, the village's most beautiful maiden. Nagi, harboring a secret love for Nami, was enraged by this sign. Determined to put an end to Orochi once and for all, Nagi, he traveled to the beast's cave in place of his beloved. The Moon Cave, a place as dark as evil itself, served as Orochi's home. As Nagi stood bravely before the entrance, a beast appeared, eyes glowing crimson upon 8 thrashing necks. Orochi stood tall before him, anxious for another sacrifice. Nagi leapt with incredible grace, swinging his blade valiantly. On and on he sliced, well into the moonless night. But Orochi's hide was like steel. The blade left nary a scratch. At long last, Nagi, his energy spent from the intense battle, dropped to his knees, fatigued and gasping for breath. He knew he was staring death in the face. It was then that the wolf appeared. As if to protect Nagi, it stood its ground before Orochi. In the darkness of the cave, the wolf's coat shone brilliantly. Alas, it was Shiranui, the wolf that dwelled outside the village. Bearing its fearsome claws, Shiranui leapt towards Orochi. Orochi reared its terrifying heads, readying its fangs for battle. The two beasts struggled wildly, thrashing in the darkness. Mysterious and terrifying, the spectacle continued. Shiranui summoned gusts of divine wind to counter Orochi's flames. As Orochi closed in on Shiranui, sharpened claws glistening, a gigantic tree suddenly sprouted forth, shielding the wolf. Shiranui fought gallantly to gain the upper hand. However, Orochi, protected by a mystical power, was not easily bested. Shiranui, covered in gashes, majestic coat dyed crimson, stood exhausted before the mighty Orochi. Orochi saw a chance to strike what would be the final blow, but Shiranui refused to give in. With its last ounce of strength, the majestic wolf gazed heavenward and unleashed a mighty howl. Suddenly, the black clouds overhead dissipated. The light from above glinted off Nagi's sword as a beacon of hope. Guided by his sword, Nagi, who had been taking shelter in the shadows, stood proudly to face his adversary, channeling all his strength into his scarred and battered arms. He leapt ferociously towards Orochi, his sword poised high. The golden sword danced in his hands like a puppet on a string. One by one, Orochi's fearsome heads separated from their owner. Orochi's broken body collapsed in a lake of its own blood. In that instant, the curse that plagued the villagers was lifted. As the battle subsided, the sun shone once again in the sky. Shiranui had succumbed to Orochi's poison and struggled to breathe. Nagi scooped the beast into his arms and returned to Kamiki. When they reached the village, Shiranui was no longer moving. The village elder gently stroked the wolf's head. In response, Shiranui let out a hoarse and pitiful bark, then closed its eyes and drifted off as if fell. Okay, I tried so hard not to misspeak. Then closed its eyes and drifted off as if into slumber. Peace had at last returned to Kamiki village. In honor of Shiranui's heroic exploits, the villagers erected a shrine and placed a statue of the wolf within it. Nagi's sword was christened Tsukuyomi and placed inside the moon cave. The villagers all looked forward to an age of endless peace. However, this is not the end of the story. There is more to this tale than most people know. 100 years had passed since Nagi and Shiranui's heroic exploits. It happened so quickly that no one in the village even took notice. Is this the legendary sword? Is this Tsukuyomi? The sword that banished the dreaded Orochi? No, it couldn't be. It's just a legend. Nothing but a fairy tale. Oh, he who seeks power He who has broken my bonds, speak the words. I wish darkness unto the world. Utter that prayer unto me, and unleash my power. Oh, requires you to spam the A button. I was gonna go over them later. A horrible tragedy suddenly swept over the land. However, there was one village that seemed to escape the terrible curse. The tiny settlement of Kamiki Village enjoyed the protection of a sacred tree. It is here that the real story begins. Wood Sprite, Sakuya. How troublesome. This is just like the ancient prophecy of doom. What has transpired to bring about such calamity? We must act quickly. There is no time to lose. My power has diminished over the years I've spent protecting this area. I don't have much time left in this world. Amaterasu. Now is the time. We have never needed your power more. Shine your divine light upon this broken and polluted world. Let your heavenly rays become our hope as you guide us all. Okami Amaterasu. Quick description. Okami, I believe, means hero. Ah, such divine white light, such beauty and grace. The only one capable of such a wondrous spectacle is none other than our mother and the origin of all that is, Amaterasu. How delightful to see that the savior whose brave sacrifice sealed away the evil demon so many years ago has not changed one bit. Seeing you emerge after so many years spent as a statue brings happiness to my heart. Can you hurry this along? Amaterasu, gaze above you and take in the condition of the sky. Since your untimely departure from our midst, the world has succumbed to devious and vicious beasts. They have ravaged our fine and bountiful country of Nippon. But never have the circumstances been worse than they are at this very moment. Please use your power to banish the darkness and punish those who would do us harm. What is this? Has something stolen its way into my robe? Well, she gets rewarded for the creepiest laugh. Whew! What on earth was that? You again?
Are you nuts? Boy, for a little thing, you sure make a big fuss. I was just trying to make the conversation a bit more interesting, that's all. Were you napping in my clothes again, Bug? Bug? I told you 1,000 times not to call me that. I'm a wandering artist. The name's Isun.
Wandering artist, Isun.
I'll show you just how great I am, and it won't be long till you're bowing before my great brush.
But I mean, the face is kind of off.
Well, what do you think? Even cuter than the real thing, no?
I mean, okay.
Well, what's with you, furball? You look kinda down in the dumps. Actually, you look kinda familiar. Got it. You look just like that statue of Shiranui. Whoa! What do you think you're doing? Are you crazy? A handsome guy like me should never be covered in wolf slobber. You'll regret messing with the great Isun. Don't make me use my prize sword, Denkomaru, against you. Whoa, what's that growling sound? And why is it so dark anyway? Oh, great God, Amaterasu. I've used all the power I have to protect Kamiki Village. The village lives on. Their spirits lie encased in my fruit. Cut it free, and the village will be reborn. I trust in you. I know that you will lead us down the right path. Only your awesome power can restore life to the world. The trees returned to normal, huh? That Sakia girl sure said some weird stuff. The villagers' spirits are being kept inside the fruit. That's the fruit. That girl said that if you cut it down, the village will be restored. But it's awfully high up there. If you don't use some kind of special power, there's no way you're gonna reach it. This darkness is really getting to me too. A lot can happen while you're taking a nap.
Indeed it can. That was the intro. Time for some context. This is Amaterasu. In Japanese folklore, Amaterasu is depicted as a white wolf and the goddess of the sun. That is what Amaterasu is. Okami essentially means hero. Amaterasu is the hero of the gods in Japanese folklore. Additionally, Amaterasu is the mother of all life. Amaterasu created the world, essentially. Created all the concepts. Life, light, air, water, fire. Amaterasu created it all. Going over basic controls. Obviously, you use the control stick to move. By pressing the Y button, you will do what is known as a shoulder dash. This has multiple purposes. First off, you might notice Amaterasu moves kind of slow. Dash. And suddenly, Amaterasu breaks out in a sprint. This thing has other uses, but we'll get to it later. The A button allows you to bark. Basically not much purpose to this, but hey, it's a thing. The B button allows you to jump. L button allows you to reset the camera, but we can't really do that here. This is the fan menu. Our main menu. We have a few things here. Can't really go over much. So, I'm just going to say this now. There won't be any gameplay this stream. Well, I am too used to streaming. There won't be any gameplay this recording. Not really. The intro is just too long. And I think it would be better to have around 20 minutes of gameplay as opposed to 5. Like, I could continue, but at this rate, it would just be 5 minutes of gameplay. Isun, to my knowledge, has no lore surrounding him. Sakuya, though. That's a pretty popular name in Japan for a reason. Sakuya is I believe, the goddess of cherry blossoms. Sakuya is a goddess that protects people, a guardian deity of sorts. But going back to the fan menu, tools, equipment, not important right now. We can see a bunch of stuff here, but like it's not important right now. This stuff, we get a tutorial on it later, but for those that will be playing along with this as a guide, upgrade your ink pots first. I'll go more into detail later, but just know, ink pots are going to be a lot more useful than health. Speaking of health, Amaterasu, I forgot I couldn't see health during the main menu. Well, during gameplay. Are those 3 dots. Solar units. That's what they're called. It's pretty self-explanatory. When you run out of solar units, it's game over. You die. And this is not a game where you can reload a checkpoint. No. You go back to the title screen. So save often. We have this menu, which doesn't really do anything. The logbook. The logbook essentially gives you a recap of the story events so far. This is really nice. If you drop this game for a while and pick it back up at random, you might have actually just forgotten all this stuff was a thing. So this is really nice. Travel guide. These are basically just your tips. The travel tips essentially gives you context for what the travel tips are and tells you controls. Now, I might as well point this out. Oh wait, we don't have enough space here. So yeah. Also, minor detail I'd love to take note of. Look at how Amaterasu is growing grass wherever she goes. Oh, full disclosure, in case it wasn't obvious, Amaterasu is a girl. She is a goddess. Anyway, next time on Okami, we will be heading into the tree to try to restore Kamiki Village to what it formerly was. I will see you guys then. Bye! This is a special mention to Fawful for winning the competition. Congratulations, Fawful. This is your shout out.